Racism and white supremacy is not a bipartisan issue. It's an American issue and one which we must all come to terms with. But if the American dream, which you were talking about, is that anyone—
Did she just say racism was an American issue?
So you were talking about the evolution of the term white supremacy, racism, all of those ideas, but the fact is white supremacy is not new. The conservative values that you and many here wish to uphold, y'all kind of ignore the fact that this country was founded on the genocide of Native Indigenous peoples, who were called primitive savages and murdered, massacred. Racism and white supremacy is not a bipartisan issue. It's an American issue and one which we must all come to terms with. But if the American dream, which you were talking about, is that anyone—
Did she just say racism was an American issue? Bro, racism is an American issue? Bro, every time I watch videos like this, I always get kind of confused because I feels like us as Americans, we always get kind of blind. Like we go blind to other countries and other areas of the world, and we think that we are just the worst. We think America is like the pinnacle of terrible behavior. Oh, you're from America. Oh. But America is literally, and I don't mean this because I'm just American, America is literally one of the best places on earth. Now, today, 2023 is one of the best places in history to be a human in America. So when you say racism is strictly American, that's probably, I hate when I hear that term. Because if you go to other places where they have full-blown caste systems where if you are black, you literally, if you even gain citizenship to this place, but if you're born there and you're black or darker, there is 0% chance that you will achieve success. Zero. It doesn't happen. It is a 0%. You are not achieving it. You are not looked at just because you're black. It gets so bad that people are bleaching their skin terribly to not be black. People are fleeing from the country, escaping from the country to come here. So when you say racism is strictly American, that's probably the dumbest thing I have ever heard. That's the worst. I hate that take, bro. Where people try to bash America as if we're no, it's not true. Don't say that. It's not true.
Anything and be anything that they want. How can we support this kind of fanciful idea when the reality is that Native peoples and so many other marginalized groups, through systemic economic barriers partly caused by the environment of our founding, are left behind from that dream?
Oh my goodness. That whole stand that having financial freedom or having the life that you want is a right, that is strictly American. That is a Western stance. Because let's go to one of these third world countries and say, I deserve to get a 2-3 bedroom house and make $70,000 a year. I deserve it. They will look at you like you are insane. That entire stance is that's how you know America's a great place. The fact that you're able to even come up here and say something like that, come on, bro. Like, come on.
The question is, I'll rephrase it. The question is, isn't it true that America was contaminated by white supremacy from the very beginning, and that the genocidal acts of white supremacy, like the displacement, relocation, and massacre of the Native Indians, is an American crime and not a partisan crime? Let me answer it this way. First of all, who were the people who took the American Indians off their ancestral lands, drove them further west, enslaved the ones who stayed, killed the ones who resisted? The answer, the Jacksonian Democrats of the 19th century. They did it. Now, what is the proof of this? This is very interesting. The proof of this, weirdly enough, is Hitler himself. When Hitler was sitting in Landsberg prison, Hitler had a problem, and the problem was that he wanted Germany to be a superpower in the way that Britain and France were, the superpowers of Europe. And Hitler was thinking, we have to do this through colonialism, because that's how the British and the French became powerful. The British run India, they run half of Africa, the French have colonies all over the world. Hitler thought, Germany needs to do that.
Bro, and that's what, when when you're really learning about history and other places on what is really happening, you're gonna really start appreciating America a little more. Like, people who have this disdain for the country, who say, oh, we are white privilege. White privilege is the reason. Like, bruh, I just can't believe these takes. I can't believe this takes. Because if you're saying that in 2023 America is a terrible place, then every civilization in history for you would probably be a terrible place. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If you have any opportunity as a minority to achieve anything, and being a minority in America in this time is the best time that we've ever had, ever, in history. I don't care what nobody say. I couldn't care less. It's the best time, period. So when you have these takes like, oh no, bro, I can't agree with it. I'm sorry, I can't. It's not in me to agree with that, bro. I'm sorry.
But he realized, but there's nothing left to take. All the real estate on the planet has been sort of occupied. So how can Germany become a great power? And then Hitler realized. Andrew Jackson figured out how to do that in the United States. His formula was really simple. Drive the Indians off their land, kill the ones who resist, enslave the ones who remained. In other words, Jackson didn't have to leave his neighborhood. He performed genocide and colonialism right at home. And Hitler said, I got to do that. I got to take a page from the Jacksonian Democrats. I don't need to go hunting for India or Africa. I'm going to take the Poles, the Slavs, the Eastern Europeans, the Russians. I'm going to throw them off their land. If they resist, I'll kill them. If they stay back, I'll enslave them. I want every German to live on a farm. This is Adolf Hitler.
I did not know that.
Taking a page from the book of the Jacksonian Democrats of the 19th century. Now, this has been exposed very recently by the historian Timothy Snyder and others. But here's again, Hitler knows something that your textbooks have evidently not taught you, which is that this was a project of the Democratic Party to create white supremacy, because Andrew Jackson stole that land, he gave it to settlers in exchange for their votes. He sold it at...
Bro, and I did not know that, man. I did not know that at all, man. That is a crazy thing to even say. Like, the fact that a political party or whatever motivated that's insane. But even talking about this, bro, like, this is a modern video, and I actually don't really appreciate when she looks like a young white liberal woman is going up there saying we aren't able to achieve things because of white privilege, because it's just not true. Like, it's not true. And I don't understand how this take is so strong today, but I'm here to tell y'all, bro, it is not accurate. Like, it's a lot of issues in America. It's a lot. But when you come to my community and you try to point out reasons why we can't achieve things, white privilege is not on that list. And when you're trying to put it on that list, it doesn't help us. It doesn't make our community better, because it's not true. So I'm not saying she's a bad young woman, because I think she has good intentions. But bro, it's not true. And I'm tired of kind of hearing that, because it doesn't do our youth any good either. It doesn't help anyone. It just makes us feel like victims, if I'm being honest.
Bargain basement prices. And so white supremacy becomes the foundational ideology of the Democratic Party, not just with regard to blacks, but also with regard to American Indians. So no, this is not a bipartisan issue. This is not an American tragedy. Remember, we fought a big civil war over issues like this. One bunch of Americans did really bad things. Another bunch of Americans, otherwise called Republicans, stopped them. So...
Bro, yeah, man. I'm not even gonna, like, yeah. But all I gotta say is, bro, like, we always are living in the past and like bringing up issues back then. I'm not saying, of course you need to know your history. You need to know your history. It would actually serve you better to know your history. But when the reason I say living in the past, because when you're bringing up things like that to justify the current state of minorities in the country, it doesn't do us any justice. It doesn't help us. It doesn't do anything positive for us. So if you really want to help, try to do something positive. That's all I'm trying to say. But yes, LFR Jojo, if you have any suggestions, comment them down below, and I'll see y'all on the next one.